What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we get a story time of one of the most entitled spoiled kids you will ever see. This kid literally comes up to the subscriber, looks at him, and says, "You look poor, to be honest." Bro actually goes on a crazy rampage of just being super entitled and spoiled, and I'm sure you know that one kid in class who just is an entitled jerk because his parents are rich, but I'm telling you, this kid is somehow even worse, but thankfully, in the end of this story, he gets the karma he deserves, so I know it's very satisfying. As always, leave a like on the video right now to claim your free nothing. With that all being said, let's just jump right into it. So anyways, we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Ben. Just for the OGs of the channel, we'll call him Ben. Anyways, right, so Ben is in 8th grade, and in Ben's 8th grade class, there's this kid who we're just going to call the spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid, here's the thing. I say this all the time, but just if you have rich parents or better off parents or billionaire parents along that spectrum doesn't inherently make you a bad person. I would never say that because that just honestly isn't true. It really is the way that you act about it. And I will say that it also a lot of the times is kind of on the parents, whether it's, the kid is a good kid or not, because at the end of the day, especially when kids are younger, it is almost 100% on the parents for how they kind of shape their worldview, shape the way that they see things. But unfortunately, this spoiled kid, his parents probably didn't do such a great job, as you will see. So anyways, this all starts in what seems like a normal day in 8th grade. The subscriber, Ben, is chilling in his math class, and that's when the spoiled kid comes into class. So anyways, right, the spoiled kid comes into class and sits down next to the subscriber. And here's the thing. The subscriber's parents, they're not actually that, they're doing all right in the income department, right? They're doing just fine. He's got food every day. He's got some clothes for school. He's got a couple outfits. He's got a little bit of a Game Boy system. He's chilling, right? I mean, he's not balling out with those Supreme bricks or whatever, but at the same time, dude is doing just fine. However, in the eyes of the spoiled kid, anyone who isn't at the same level of frickin' gold-encrusted toilet paper is somehow like some super poor, destitute, second-class citizen who should bow down to the spoiled kid because the spoiled kid is king and better than him because his parents are rich. That is basically the mentality / the worldview of the spoiled kid at this point. So the spoiled kid sits down next to the subscriber and is just kind of like looking at him. And yeah, the subscriber, here's the thing, he was wearing some his shoes were a little bit older. They got a little bit scuffed up. And, at the end of the day, there's a lot of really expensive shoes that they actually make them look scuffed up for you. So maybe he's wearing some freaking designer shoes. You don't actually know, man. No, but the subscriber, he's wearing some shoes that were a little bit scuffed up. And I actually can relate to this because I would just wear my shoes down until honestly, my feet touch the ground through the shoe. There'd be a hole in the... My mom and I came to an agreement of sorts that I would throw out my shoes if I could feel the ground with my feet. That was kind of my agreement, meaning there's an actual hole in the bottom of my shoe in which when I step down, I'm touching the ground with my bare feet. Fair enough on that one. I give her that, and I'd get new shoes then. But I can relate to my shoes being a little bit scuffed up. And anyways, I think I can look pretty good. You can definitely style kind of scuffed up shoes. And I know some people say you got to break in your shoes for them to look good. Not all types, but whatever. We're going on a bit of a tangent. What I'm trying to say is, the subscriber was wearing a slightly older pair of shoes. He kind of had the same mentality of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the spoiled kid was just staring at the shoes. You guys might be thinking, Connor, you're jumping to conclusions. The spoiled kid maybe was just looking at the shoes. Maybe he was spacing off. I know personally, I do this all the time. I will just be spacing off into the distance, and sometimes I'll be making direct eye contact with someone and staring at them for 10 minutes, and I don't even know it. So yes, he might be doing that. However, it's what the spoiled kid says next, which confirms that he was staring at the shoes because he thought that they looked quote-unquote poor, to be honest. Yeah, so anyways, right, the spoiled kid looks the subscriber dead in the face and is just like, "You're looking extra poor this morning." And the subscriber is like, "Hey, yo, bro, what?" Yeah, this kid actually had the audacity to look at him after staring at his shoes forever and telling him that, to be honest, he looks extra poor right now, which is kind of a crazy statement to make, not gonna lie. Like, bro actually came in there with the audacity to say, you're looking extra poor right now. And so, yeah, the subscriber obviously isn't like, I mean, he's not gonna be like, thanks, man. I really appreciate the feedback. Like, bro, thank you so much for saying that. Like, that's the aesthetic I was going for. I mean, maybe, but you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, everyone knew, if you say that, it's definitely meant as like a diss, and you can't be upset or confused if people don't necessarily take you going up to them and saying, like, you look extra poor today as a compliment. You can't be too confused if people are upset about this. So the subscriber kind of retaliates a little bit and is like, bro, like, what's your problem? Like, I don't have any beef with you. I don't interact with you like that. I don't know what's up, but if something's up, you got to let me know. And the spoiled kid's like, no, dude, I was just like, I'm just saying what's on my mind. Like, if you hate freedom of speech that much, then, you know, you can just leave this country or something. But I'm just exercising my my right to, like, say what I'm thinking right now, bro. Which, like, yeah, I do, like, understand and support the freedom of speech part of the Constitution. I think it's incredibly important to allow people to say what they think. However, here's the thing about that. The unwritten rule in that part of the Constitution is like, you're allowed to say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get consequences for your actions. It's like, can't say that you can't say it, but if you say it, there might be consequences. Like, there's nothing saying that you can't retaliate if someone says something bad in the Constitution. Everyone's always like, my freedom of speech, bro. I'm like, yeah, you're allowed to say that. No problem. I have no issue with that. However, if you say that, there might be some consequences. I hope that's not such a crazy idea. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, you know, the spoiled kid's like, well, I was just exercising my freedom of speech, right? And so at this point, right, the spoiled kid has been known for a while of kind of just being a pretentious jerk. And I think people had this sense of growing animosity against the kid, which, I mean, it makes sense, man. If you're coming in every single day and basically just like ragging on people for their, you know, their financial status, which is just not a cool thing to do. And I hope you guys are bright enough, and no, you guys are bright enough. I know that for a fact. I hope you guys, like, understand that this is not a chill thing to do no matter what. Like, I mean, the only situation is if someone's like saying like, oh, I'm so rich and you suck because you're poor, then you could make fun. I don't know. Like, what I'm trying to say is it's like not a cool thing. And like some other people were overhearing this conversation because this was kind of like the part of like the period in class where the teacher still either hasn't come in or is setting up or whatever. So it's kind of a chill period before the work really begins. And basically, you know, people are kind of just hanging out or whatever. So some other kids overheard what the spoiled kid said to the subscriber. And this other kid, what do we want to call him? We'll call him Luca, right? So anyways, this kid, Luca, he's pretty popular in school. So Luca's pretty popular. Ben, like, I hate talking about like middle school popularity as a literal college student, but it's important kind of for the context of the story. So Luca was like the top dog in the school. Everyone thought he was so sick. And like in middle school, I think you just have to run fast and then you're popular. I don't even remember, man. It's such a long time ago. But anyways, right, Ben was always kind of, I don't know, people were like always cool with him and he had friends, but he wasn't like known as like a popular kid. But he wasn't also an unpopular kid at the same time. But the thing is, though, the spoiled kid, believe it or not, was a fairly popular kid, even though a lot of people didn't like him. So, I don't know, there's kind of this phenomenon, especially in high school, and especially with girls, I found. This is a generalization, 100%, but I've just seen it to be true a lot. A lot of the quote-unquote popular people, especially like the popular girls, are not really well-liked. It's very strange. Popularity is often not correlated to how nice you are, because a lot of times when someone shoots up the popularity ladder, they actually become less nice, which is not the way to go about it. I mean, if you're popular and awesome to everyone, then that's like your overall, everyone likes you. It's like, that's really what matters, that, you know, you're a cool person to other people. But the thing is, though, a lot of times in high school and middle school, and if you guys are in high school or middle school or going into either of those, just realize that the popularity, if you're popular in your class, it really doesn't matter. If I'm being straight up, it really does not matter. I get it's your entire world right now, so I understand if you guys are stressing over like, man, is like Stacy gonna like me or whatever? Like, I need to be in that clique or whatever. It's really not that deep. The second you leave middle school, high school, whatever, it will not matter at all. And I've found that like you don't want to peak in high school. You don't want to peak in middle school. That's not what you want to do. But anyways, though, the spoiled kid as kind of like saw his like popularity as almost a status symbol. And I think the fact that he had like access to so much money was one of the reasons why he was quote unquote so popular, right? I think that was one of the main reasons. So the thing is, though, Luca, the kid who overheard the spoiled kid going off on the subscriber Ben, basically ruled the whole school. And Luca was one of those kids that was both popular and was also super cool. Like, everyone really liked him. He wasn't like pushover nice in a sense, but he was just really chill and really fair. He was never unfair to anyone. So I know I just went on this huge rant about high school / middle school popularity, but trust me, it's important to the story. So anyways, the spoiled kid basically thinks he gets away with mocking the subscriber Ben. Because what happens is that no one really speaks back. And also, if I said earlier on that like Luca said something, I misspoke there. That's actually later on. So at this point, Luca overhears what's going on, but he doesn't make it super apparent. So if I said that he said something, I remembered that wrong. I checked the story again. By the way, if you want to submit your own stories, go to my Instagram at ConnorPugs, follow me on there, and then DM me. Go to the DM feature, send me a message with your entire story. That's where I get my stories. Twitter also works at ConnorPugs on Twitter too. DM me the story, but make sure you're following me because, hey man, I do like some good followers. You know what I mean? If I use your story, I might follow you back on Twitter too. Anyways, so yeah, sure enough, right? Luca overheard everything, but he didn't say anything yet. Because Luca, his big thing was fairness. His big thing was like, you know, you got to be fair to people. Very much a kind of like a biblical eye for an eye type of guy. So if someone was unfair to you, or someone was a jerk to you, and you were a jerk back to them, he didn't care. Personally, I think you should always take the higher ground, but that's just me, not Luca, right? But the thing is here, this was like what Luca saw as a totally unfair situation because the spoiled kid, first of all, didn't earn any of the money. Even if he earned every cent, even if he worked tirelessly and it was his luck and talent and labor that got him there, it still wouldn't be fair for him to pick on someone else. But it's almost like the cherry on top is the fact that this kid didn't even work for any of this. Yeah, so anyways, right, the spoiled kid thought he got away with all this. Class began, and Luca honestly was like kind of like, or not Luca, Ben, the subscriber, he was a little like miffed about all this. Like he was a little bit like thrown off guard. He was a little bit upset, but he honestly forgot about it in like 10 minutes. It really wasn't that deep to him. He just thought it was like kind of like, dang, bro, like this kid's actually a jerk for no reason. Anyways, though, so some time goes on and they're sitting at the lunch table. And by them, I meant the subscriber, Ben, and his friends. They're kind of just chilling at the lunch table, whatever. And that's when Luca comes over and sits down at the table. And as I said before, Ben and Luca, sorry, I don't think I said this, but Ben and Luca, they weren't like boys or anything, so this was a little strange. And also, like, you know, Luca was a super popular kid. Everyone was trying to sit with him all the time, and he went out of his way to sit down with Ben. So this was off the bat. Ben knew that something was up. He had no idea, though, because he had completely forgotten about the whole spoiled kid incident, and he also had no idea, even when he did remember back, he had no idea that Luca heard any of it. So anyways, right, Luca sits down. He's like, yo. And Ben's like, oh, what's good, bro? Like, how's it going? And Luca's like, I heard what that kid, the spoiled kid, said to you. And, Ben was like a little embarrassed because like he was trying to maybe get some new shoes soon. And the spoiled kid basically just ragged on him for his shoes looking bad. And but Ben's like, yeah, like, kid's a jerk, whatever. And Luca's like, just so you know, like, I don't let stuff like that slide. And Ben's like, okay. And Luca's like, yeah, I have like I'm very strongly think that like, I whenever I see something unfair, I try and make it fair. And, Ben's like, okay, trying to figure out where Luca's even going with this at this point. Like, where's bro going with this right now? And so Luca basically explains that he knows how much the spoiled kid cares about his popularity. And that, like, Luca says, like, at the end of the day, a kid like that doesn't deserve to have, like, to be respected here. So I made sure to let everyone know to bump him down a peg. And Luca glanced over at a lunch table, right? A lunch table all the way in the far end of the room. And so looking all the way in the far corner of this room. So just another piece of information, the lunch tables were actually very correlated to like your popularity or whatever. There was like a popular kids table And if you sat with someone at lunch, it was seen that like you guys were like in the same level. Super stupid. Middle school popularity is the dumbest thing ever. And if you guys are struggling with that, please remember it is so dumb. Nobody cares after middle school. Trust. But anyways, they're looking all over at the far end, right? The far, far table. And there's a table all the way in the back. No one is sitting at it except for one kid. And that's the spoiled kid. Basically, Luca told everyone at like the popular kids table to basically ban him from sitting there. And so when the spoiled kids kept on getting banned from sitting there, apparently he went to like the mid-tier tables of like the kind of like the in-between people. But the thing is, the spoiled kid was starting to get like multiple levels of karma because he had been a jerk to anyone that he didn't see as like one of the popular kids, like an absolute jerk to all of them. So all of a sudden, when he kind of came begging to sit at their tables to like keep his reputation good, right? Nope. They all said, nah, bro, like, you're cool with us now because, like, you're getting kicked from the popular kids table. Like, that's crazy. That's so crazy. So, yeah, just kept on getting, like, bumped down until he realized that he had actually been a jerk to everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody that wasn't in the popular kids tables. And the popular kids tables were told by the top dog himself, Luca, to not let him in. So sure enough, right, the spoiled kid eventually got karma for his actions.